Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Space Engineers. This is Old Man speaking. I bet you thought I only did Warband. Haha. Okay, today we're going to start a new game in Space Engineers. They've done a lot of changes since the last time I played, which hasn't been all that long ago. There's a lot of tutorial stuff and wiki stuff they've added in to show you. I'm just going to jump right in because I'm a fairly old hand at this game. But those are there for you, so if you decide to buy this, you totally get some in-game help and a hand in learning. Okay, now we're going to start a new game, custom game. I'm just going to build some stuff and show it off, and you're going to get to watch me build for once. It is going to be a new game, Empty World, so any of my DeviantArt fans watching, you won't be seeing any of my old projects from the journals. It'll be completely empty. We'll call this one Recording Studio. Here we go. Description. There's a place to film myself building. It'll be creative. We won't have to worry about survival, like taking care of needs and mining everything out yet. Offline. Nobody's actually going to see that description but you. Advanced. Safe. Asteroid amount's fine. World size, we'll knock it down to 10 kilometers for both. Just to help cut down on performance issues. I don't think we're going to have any, but just in case. These three, I think this is new stuff. The max objects was there. We'll put it up to 62. I tried 64 a little bit ago, but it's finicky. If my voice sounds a little bit stuffed up, I've actually been knocking back the eggnog since I got home from work, so that might gum me up a little bit. Lesson learned. Max ship size, I think this is new. Max blocks per player, also new. Blocks, we'll get into that in a little bit when we start building per player. That's new. I'm not entirely sure what PCU is. It's kind of like a point system, I guess, yeah. Each block build costs some PCU, but I have no idea if it's a 1-to-1 ratio or not. I guess we'll find out if it says anything on there. If not, I can look it up later. Auto healing. We're in creative. It's not gonna matter. But I think that is new. Yeah, it is. Used to be you could only heal by going to a medical bay. Enable spectator, not gonna matter, we're offline. Player names, no other players. Thruster damage means if you're using blocks too close to a thruster when it's on, thruster's just gonna burn right through the block. It might take a little bit of time, but yeah. Weapons enabled. We're gonna be playing with weapons today. Destructible blocks. Can't demo a good weapon without some destruction. Yeah, that's not gonna matter. We're not doing anything with ship tools. Voxel hand. I've never even seen that. I've never used it. Third person view. We could look. Yeah, we could do some third person viewing. Air tightness. We'll be getting into air pressure. So yeah, we'll keep that. Enable convert to station. Yeah. We're gonna have some stations for target practice. I did a ship as target practice in my journal and my third journal, and that didn't go so well. It kind of flew away after the first hit. We're definitely going to need... Yeah, we're definitely going to need a jetpack because we're out in space. Destruction, voxel destruction. I don't know if that's going to matter. I think it goes along with the destructible blocks, so we'll keep it on. Wolves. I'm not sure. I think those might be a land thing, but they might be the name for the pirates. Remote block removal. Oh. I mean, we aren't going to need it. Respawn ships. We're not going to die. There's no need for a respawn. Delete. That's also not relevant. Definitely going to keep this. Copy paste allows me to... Yeah. It allows me to copy the ship and make a blueprint out of it. And that's how you save your projects in creative. And then you can like port them over to other creative maps by pasting them. And that's the really cool way to build like scenarios. Like maybe later on, not today, but later on, we might build a scenario where like one side has one really cool ship and the other side has three almost as cool ships, and 3-on-1 deathmatch between them. And we need this to be able to quickly build that. Ownership, permanent death, there's no death anyway. We're not going to get into the game's cargo ships anytime, not yet anyway. I don't want them floating around in space when, especially when we've got a 10-kilometer map here. I don't want them floating around in space cluttering things up. In-game scripts. Yeah. I'm not a programmer. There's a lot you can do with programming in this game if you know how, but I don't. I'm not going to turn that off just in case we decide later on to change this and make this an online map and somebody else decides to come in and play. But we're not there yet. Active. Yellow. Well, that's a joke, in case CPU is on fire. Haha. But yeah, reduction of quality of deformations and explosions. That just means if the game's too hardcore for your computer, it'll adapt and tone itself down for you. We'll leave that on, even though I'm sure it won't eat this hard drive of mine. Or CPU of mine. Definitely want oxygen, because we're going to be playing with that too. Sun rotation. Yeah. In this game, the sun rotates around the site, not the other way around. It's weird. No, leave that be. It's not going to matter. I turn it off, it's not going to matter. Unsported. I'm not sure what that means. Option grids will no longer turn dynamic when disconnected from... I'm guessing if you blow up a station, all the other pieces kind of become playable? Movable? I'll leave it be. Spawn more tools. Yeah, we're gonna keep that. I mean, we shouldn't need it for creative, but just in case. And no drones. We don't want... I mean, you'd think the NPC cargo ships are bad enough. Drones actively hunt you. The cargo ships just float around in a line. That's... Okay. So, we're not playing with any mods right now. I mean, anytime you add mods to a map, everybody else has to download them. And I'm trying to show you how to build stuff in the base game without them. So, for now, we'll leave mods off, and we find some cool ones, and we take this multiplayer sometime. And then we'll fix that. So, we'll go ahead and start. God, it's already been 7 minutes of recording time. And, yeah. Loading screen, I'll probably edit this out. Here we go! Ooh, good bot introduction. AI teacher that helps you by offering directions. Let's get you started. Honestly, I mean, that's new, so I'm looking at it, but it's not necessary. I've got the basics down. If there's anything new I need to learn, we'll learn. Experimental mode. Okay. That I might need. Game may break because experimental mode is enabled. Yay. It contains many experimental, unofficial, and not fully developed features. These were the features we added to the game throughout its early access development, but they are now not considered to be an official part of the game. We don't want to remove them from the game because many players are used to them. By default, you're in safe mode. Only selected features and limits. Experimental mode was introduced because we wanted to guarantee flawless gameplay. We can only do this if we control the boundaries, mods, unsafe settings, or unofficial features are out of range of what we can guarantee. Okay, whatever. I don't plan on playing with things just yet. We built this as a pretty safe and pretty safe map for now. Look at that sun. Okay. No, it counted that. Probably because I was checking experimental mode. That works. So yeah, empty map. Nothing else to it. Some asteroids though. I wonder how many. I don't see any others. Oh. Wait. Bet those are the ones we looked at. So, I always get like this with this game. I'm just using that sun right now because it's a good place to focus. Okay. Let's play around. Do the tutorial after all. Okay. No, I'm not gonna do your building tutorial. I have plans today, I just need to remember what they are. Okay, yay, it does give us a PCU count. So for light armor blocks, is this a small? This looks like a small armor block. Yeah. And if I hit button again, this is button 1. Okay. No, that's a small. That's a large. Okay. Cool. You can roll the mouse wheel and it'll change into whatever else it needs to be. We're going with the light armor block for now. Actually, no we're not. Let's do heavy armor. Heavy armor is for frames and for internal armor. I'm using the light armor for the fill-in blocks on the external armor of any ships I do. So this is what a block looks like. You know, pretty self-explanatory. That's the first block of our ship. I do a lot of flying around on this thing. I'll probably edit out quite a bit on this. So I think that's 5. Yeah. And if you hit Control and hold down, you can stretch it out like that. And then you just fill in. And there we go. I've just built a 5x5 plate of heavy armor, which is good. This is actually the base for our bridge. Command bridge. Let's see. We'll make it a 7x7. 5x5 for the inside, and the extra space for walls. Those of you who came here from DeviantArt will already know this design of bridge from my armored survival ship tutorial. Okay. Yeah, at the corners. I'm going heavy armor for this. First off, I use heavy armor for all my frames to give the ship the sort of stronger skeleton so that if the, quote, skin of the ship gets blown apart, there's still a functional frame left that could potentially keep the ship going. And let's see. There's that. That is... See, we can fill this in. First we gotta kind of pick which side we want the front of the ship to be. I'm thinking it's that side. Away. Let's make this thing face away from the sun. So actually, let's put it here. So there's the front wall. Okay. Hit the G button. This is a PC game. I don't think there's a console port for it yet. I don't know if that's a plan. It might actually already be out on consoles. I don't know. I didn't follow that if it did. Cockpit blocks. I am a PC player, so everything I do, I don't even really have a console anymore. When I did, it was generally Nintendo. Okay, so here I'm hitting the insert button. That's the delete button. That gets me... Yeah. Okay. Here we go. That is... let's see. That works just right. But I'll make flight seats for the others. The difference is, if I get into... Yeah, if I get into this, control station here, this will show an outside view of the ship by default. I think that's going to be the main cockpit. That means that the only person who can control this ship is the person sitting in that chair. And hit F, get out. With the others, the flight seat that I'm about to throw in. The default view is literally looking at the bulkhead in front of you. However, the reason why you might want to do this, hold down Alt, and you can move the mouse. You can actually look around. Of course, as you saw, the screen did say this is not the main cockpit, so nobody sitting in that chair can move the ship, which is good. If everybody can move the ship, then people are going to play tug of war on it, just because. And back to why we're using heavy armor for this. I'm not going to fill in the rest yet. This is a bridge. It should be one of, if not the, most secure sections of the ship. It's where your command crew is going to sit. Now, I'm not sure how many seats I'm going to build, because I'm not sure entirely what I'm going to build on the ship. But, well, there's going to be at least one thing. Cockpit. That is actually going to be... It's not going to be the flight seat. Right now, it's going to be called generic gunner's seat. Yes, there will be weapons on this thing. Those of you who saw my defense tutorial, my defense journal, what we're going to put on this is going to be a tad bit different than what you saw there. Because today, eventually, we're going to be playing with turrets. But I figured I'd get something else kind of built up first. I will fill this in. But you don't have to have a separate captain's seat if you don't want to. It's entirely possible to have your pilot and your captain be the same person. But alright, this is going to be dark for you. So, let's fix that. L button brings up the light. I mean, come on, you want to be straightforward with these things. User friendliness requires that buttons be fairly intuitive. Show you just how good that light works. See? Without it, almost pitch black. Cool lighting effect though. Nice little glare off the screens. But, go. You know, the bigger your bridge, the more command seats you can put into it. Of course, you could be smart and just decentralize your command. Have the gunner's seats be beneath every major gun. Which, let's see, what do we want to do next? Well, I think I'm actually going to knock that out. Build this. Just two, please. There we go. I mean, eventually I'll need that third, but I don't want to go there quite yet. Let's see. Go back to G. There we go. I'm not sure what... I mean... Oh, okay. Because shift does something else, so it doesn't actually capitalize things. And the reason, I mean, obviously, we want air vents because we want airlocks of air and cargo. And really, to do that well, we need conveyor junction. We'll slap a We'll slap a junction between two air vents. We'll set the air vents up. Okay, that's end. That's not. That's home. That's end. That's insert. That's delete. Let's just make sure. Yep. Oxygen pressurizer. And then there we go. That's delete. And then let's throw. In the conveyor, it doesn't matter. It's the junction. It's got a block for that on every side. Yeah, these yellow doors. You want those doors to match up on like everything that you want to put conveyors towards. Okay, so there's your bridge. There's right now it's inactive, obviously, but with a couple of doors and proper tubing back to an oxygen supply, you've got yourself an airlock and a vent for pressurizing the cockpit, the bridge. And this is basic bridge. I'm not sure how many turrets we're going to put on. When I say turrets, in the journal, the folks following my journal will probably be thinking of those little mono tools that you see, little one-gun turrets that I showed off in the last journal. But we're going to custom build our own in this series, because this is like video 1. I'm not sure how long I'm going to run each vid. Yeah. Front of the ship. Of course, you get a good view of it right there. You can look at it from like just about every angle from the cockpit. But that's only, you're only going to be using that view in the cockpit if you don't have anything better to do. You got to hook up cameras first, then you can have real views out of every window, so to speak. But you definitely want to build, if you're going into combat, you definitely want to build a bridge like this. Something armored, interior. Because you could put windows on it, and I'll show you. Well, no, I won't show you, because the windows take up a full block. I mean, I could show you, obviously. Let's see. G, window blocks. Just find a basic 1x1. Show it off. Flat inverted. There we go, flat. There we go. Like, if you have it faced like that, you can see through it, but it'll be dark. Plus, you know, it'll be on the very outside. I'm hitting home for this, by the way. There we go. There's your window. You can see right out of it. You can also see how thin it is. Let's see here. G. Character weapons. Let's just pull out a rifle. Okay. There we go. I mean, from the one-person rifle, it took a good bit to kill, which I am thankful for. I didn't know how much it was going to take. But that's just a personal gun. That's not blowing it out with a serious weapon. A ship-based weapon. And of course, you pull out your welder, and you put everything back together again. So yeah, you definitely want to avoid the whole... There we go. You want to avoid windows on your cockpit, unless you're in a non-combat setting. Or unless you've got alternate means of doing things. I was considering, and I will probably do it on another design, another video series. I was considering a hybrid one, mounted on pistons, where you could actually push the bridge up out of this nest, through, this would be empty space, not a ceiling, and then up into a windowed area that was about 4 blocks, because that's the max push, the max extension on pistons. The last that I knew that was a max extension on pistons was 4 blocks. Like 4 blocks up, where you'd have a windowed area where you could look out and see everything. Because I'll grab a camera. Camera? I'll show off the view on a camera. Making sure. I think that's the correct angle. I'm not sure. It'll show you what the view from a camera is like if it'll power up. I'm not sure if cameras work without a central power. Okay. So you go into G, and it'll pull that up. There's camera. You pull the camera somewhere onto your toolbar. Hit view. And then, okay, it might not be on. It might need some power. So let's just install some power for a second and show you what it looks like. Small reactor. We don't have anything big on this yet. Just throw it on there. It just has to be on there for a second. There we go. I mean, it's not really a very big view from this. So if you can build an enclosed like window bubble where you can look around everywhere, and better yet, you can mount at least one chair on a rotator block and just kind of spin yourself around like a swivel chair in an office, you can actually get a much better view. But again, you're highly vulnerable to everything. Like, even if you're on a peaceful map, if you're mining something, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna be risking accidents. And that's what a lot of the mining ships do, is a lot of the mining ships do that. They'll have a bubble for you to see out of. It's pretty fun. In fact, since we are recording this, might as well go ahead and knock out these sides anyway, and just fill them in with windows. Don't know why I'm doing it one by one. There we go. There we go. And then, oh, yeah, you can also delete blocks that way with that control trick. And then reinsert them. And there you go. Then, might help if I didn't choose the one that defaulted to outside ship. Gunner seat. You can see all over the place. Well, except for your seat. Seat's behind you, so of course it makes sense you can't look behind you. Like, even if you could realistically turn that far, you shouldn't. Of course, on the downside. There we go. Lights back. Yeah. But no. The visibility is nice. It's definitely worthwhile in the right circumstances. But you've got to account for the vulnerability this gives you. In fact, show you how vulnerable it is. And I already showed you with one weapon, but I wouldn't be my thorough self if I didn't show you with others. Just a Gatling. Yeah. We'll just play with that. We'll just slap the cockpit, a gun, and some gyroscopes on it. You need gyroscopes to be able to turn around and stuff, and if I want to aim, well, I gotta be able to turn. Cockpit. Yeah. Let's see. We'll just stick it right. There's fine. And then we'll stick some gyroscopes. Pretty sure I have to find those again. Oh hey, parachute. Pretty sure they already existed. Because there are planets in this game. It's one of those cool ones that actually manages planets. And space. We'll just throw some gyros. And of course power. Doesn't have to be much power. There we go. You can see there. Okay, leave the cockpit. Throw a couple of these guns on her. Okay, only really takes one. G, Gatling, shoot on and off. Okay, now it's just the fun of aiming. Ooh. It's apparently on the other side. And of course, I have gyros, but I don't have any thrusters. So, hey, more demos. This is why you need thrusters. On every side. I know, it's getting away from me. Not power. Huh. Wait a sec. It might also help if I had the cockpit on right, eh? Okay. Need thrusters on every side. Okay. Not quite what I expected. Not sure why those fell off, but eh. We'll throw a couple of those there. And we'll find the other ship. We'll also have to throw the cockpit back on. There we go. There's that. Of course, might help if I paid attention to which side I had the gat on. And I actually had the gyroscopes back on there. Which I of course replaced with thrusters. There we go. And the more gyroscopes you have, the more nimble your ship can be. Okay. Get out of it and look around. There we go. It's beneath. And of course it takes a good bit. There we go. there. Now I just have to remember which side. Yeah. You can tell I'm slightly rusty. Okay. I'm to reset that. Shoot on off. Okay. See, it really doesn't take much. And that's just one Gatling gun. If you're actually going into battle, you're going to be facing multiples. So you really don't want to be leaving yourself vulnerable there. There we go. Just because it's in survival mode doesn't mean I don't want to feel repairs going on. Use my fingers. It's fun to see it actually reform. You see how everything's bending up like that. That's a good argument for something called gap armor. When you're building a warship, you always want to build it with two levels of armor. There's your inner holes, or bulkheads I think they're called, and then there's your outer hull, which is the armor. And with gap armor, you want a single space of empty air between them. That way, when that bending does happen, assuming you don't just blow a hole through it in the first place, the bent-in, deformed metal doesn't just smash directly against the second level of armor. Putting that gap in kind of absorbs that bend. And it'll probably, the outer armor will probably, like, completely destroy itself before it hits anything else. Of course, you also want to use that empty space for engineering spaces, crawl through. But we'll get to that later. Now, yeah, this is bridges. This is the bridge to our ship. We've got our controls there. We got our cockpit and a gunner's share. You can throw a whole bunch of others in there if you want. I would think on a basic design we might want 3 turrets, manual control turrets. So we'd want maybe gunner 1, gunner 2, and gunner 3. And then in the middle here, the captain. And depending on what else we do and how big a ship it is, you might want a main engineer sitting right there. And then each seat would do something different, of course, and have different layouts. Depending on the ship, maybe your pilot. Well, I get ahead of myself, but there's multiple propulsion systems. We'll get into those. Some of them aren't actually under propulsion or thruster. Anyway, yeah, this is bridges. This is the bridge we've built. Hope you like this one.